Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into the incredibly complex web of global market expansion, and more importantly, the vital ethical rules companies absolutely must follow to survive in it. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or honestly just curious about how your favorite products cross the globe to reach your doorstep, understanding international business is absolutely essential. Take Funko Pops, for example. These little big-headed figurines might not look entirely lifelike, but wow, they represent a massive global sensation. By taking on the appearance of famous pop culture icons, they've gained this widespread appeal to collectors all around the world, literally earning the company more than $1 billion in annual revenue. It just goes to show how a single product can cross borders and capture a worldwide audience. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the global market arena, look at strategies for global reach, learn about navigating global forces, touch on trade protectionism, and finally, dive into the ethical rulebook. Let's get to it. Section 1. The global market arena. Think about this. There are 8 billion people on this planet. 8 billion. That makes the global market an absolutely massive pool of potential customers. No matter how big your home market might be, the vast majority of consumers actually live outside your borders. But to tap into all that potential, nations have to trade. Why? Because no single country possesses all the natural or technological resources it needs to produce everything on its own. So how does this work in practice? Well, it really boils down to 2 fundamental economic theories that drive global trade. First, we have comparative advantage. This basically suggests that a country should sell the products it produces most efficiently and just buy the products it can't produce as effectively from others. On the flip side, there's absolute advantage. This means a country literally has a monopoly on a specific product, or they can just produce it way more efficiently than anyone else in the entire world. Moving right along to Section 2. Strategies for global reach. Franchising giants like McDonald's succeed for a very specific reason. They adapt. They adapt their menus to local customs and tastes. Franchising is an incredibly powerful strategy. But listen, you can't just copy and paste what works at home. To thrive globally, you have to localize. Take Japan. McDonald's there offers the Grokero burger, complete with macaroni, prawn, and white sauce. Or in Germany, you might find a vegan strawberry McFlurry. Catering to a nation's specific customs, that's not just a nice to have. It's an absolute requirement for global survival. And expanding globally is really an escalation game, right? You move from the lowest commitment and risk to the absolute highest. A company might kick things off with licensing, basically gaining revenue by allowing a foreign company to produce its product for a fee. From there, they might step it up to franchising or contract manufacturing. As they seek an even bigger footprint, they might get into international joint ventures, which means partnering with local companies to share both the tech and the risk. And finally, requiring the most commitment but offering complete control is foreign direct investment. This is the actual buying of permanent property and businesses in foreign nations. Section 3. Navigating global forces. Now, cultural intelligence is totally non-negotiable. Lacking it leads to some pretty hilarious, but incredibly costly multi-million-dollar mistakes. Get this. When Pepsi translated its slogan, "Come alive, you're in the Pepsi generation," in China, customers actually read it as, "Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the dead." Oops. KXC's famous "Finger looking good" translated to "bite your fingers off" in Japanese. Coors accidentally promised Spanish-speaking markets they would suffer from diarrhea, and Purdue Chicken inadvertently claimed it takes an aroused man to make a chicken affectionate. You literally cannot make this stuff up. The big takeaway here, you must never, ever assume that what works at home is going to work abroad. That assumption is rooted in ethnocentricity, this dangerous attitude that your own culture is somehow superior to others. If a business assumes their marketing campaign, their product, or even just basic business etiquette will seamlessly translate abroad, they are going to fail. You have to take the time to deeply understand the unique social structures, religions, and customs of your target market. All right, Section 4, Trade Protectionism. So what happens when governments step in to change the rules of the free market? They use trade protectionism. These are regulations specifically designed to actively limit the import of goods and services. 2 of the major mechanisms here are tariffs and import quotas. Tariffs are simply import taxes. Sometimes they're meant to protect young domestic industries, and other times they're just a way for the government to raise some cash. Import quotas take it a step further by placing a strict numerical limit on the exact quantity of a product that can even be brought into the country. And we've seen this play out in huge ways. Look at Brexit. It represents the ultimate real-world fracturing of a massive common market. A common market like the European Union is designed to have zero internal tariffs and coordinated laws to make cross-border exchange incredibly easy. But when the United Kingdom officially exited the EU in 2020, it marked the end of over 40 years of deep economic and political cooperation. It is a profound reminder that the landscape of global trade is always shifting.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the Ethical Rulebook.
Because here is the undeniable truth. Unethical behavior completely destroys trust in the free market system. Just look at Enron, where executives committed massive accounting fraud, moving billions of dollars in debt to artificially inflate stock prices, all while their ordinary employees suffered the consequences. Or consider Wells Fargo, fined millions for creating over 1.5 million fake accounts and credit cards in their own customers' names, completely without their knowledge. Actions like these absolutely shatter public confidence. True global success requires a deep, unwavering commitment to ethical behavior. It's not just about obeying the bare minimum of the law. You can't just follow the rules on paper. You have to ask yourself the really hard questions. Is my action fair? Will it restore trust? How is it actually going to make me feel about myself? Ethics doesn't start with a corporate mandate. It begins with each individual in the company choosing to do what is right. And in stark contrast to that kind of corporate greed, look at something like the Emerson Collective. Founded by Laurene Powell Jobs, this organization actively invests billions of dollars to boost education, tackle critical issues like climate change, and expand financial services to underserved communities. This is exactly what it looks like when business principles are used not just to generate profit, but to fundamentally improve the world around us. So, it all comes down to this. Are you ready for a globalized future? Because globalization is incredibly real, and the economic competition promises to only intensify from here on out. Have you started developing your own global perspective? Are you thinking critically about the ethical implications of how businesses operate today? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and definitely keep an eye on the global arena.